Knew the shit would come back in. All right, here we go. Some people are made of plastic. You know, some people are made of wood. Some people have hearts of stone. Some people are up to no good. But, baby, I'm for real. I'm as real can get. If what you're looking for is real loving, then what you see is what you get. Do, do, do. I got to say it again, y'all. What you see and what you see is what you get. Is what you get. I said what you see is what you get now, baby. It's what you get. Pinky ring, pinky ring. This is the pinky ring hour. Better. Still better. Give you that blue argonite, baby. Ah, that blue argonite energy. Kind of looks like Turtle Island, doesn't it? Looks just like the Turtle Island. All right, motherfucker, you getting too heavy. God damn. Oh, that's rough. It's rough being old. Shit. I ain't got it together, baby. Let's get this shit together. Frick. All right. Welcome. Welcome to What the fuck is this? This is the Chocolate Mountain Show, and I am your super funky host, Big Pontiac. They want to teach you and make you think Pontiac is a car. No, it's a hero. Pontiac was a hero that fought the beast, that fought the man, that fought the European. So I honor him. I am also the holder of the infinite sacred ball game created by the Hero Twins. And being the holder, I have to show the corruption. I have to show how they use this beautiful thing that should give us all rest and all just comfort and all somewhere to put this energy and working out and staying active our whole lives. But they use it as a corruption. And I'm also your galactic daddy-o, welcoming each and every one of the Chocolate Mountaineers to this galactic patio that reaches from wherever you are to the universe. And tonight we are definitely drinking the Bitter Shop Munich style brown ale by Excelsior Beer, which is only, the shop is only, the company, the brewery is only about 20 miles away from me, not very far. So definitely pop them if you got them. I'm a little slow on the popping. The shit was hiding. And this shit nasty in the motherfucker. You can tell how much beer I drank. God damn. Wow. But alcohol sterilizes. So look at this brown golden. This is just that brown Munich style. Don't you wish you were me? Don't you wish you were me and being able to enjoy this right now? Look at that. Don't you wish you could just, ooh, I smell the brewery. I could just imagine myself walking in there amongst all those beautiful kegs. And also, we are still using the unicorn hookah, Luca. And so smoke them if you want them. I think I'm smoked out, but let's see if we can get it going. You remember that dude made fun of Umar Johnson? Umar Johnson was like going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's a little loud in my ear, but that's all right. That's a lot loud in my ear. Shit said recharge me. See that? Recharge me. Oh shit. I'm already funky enough. I'm funky again. So what Chocolate Mountaineers are with us? What Chocolate Mountaineers are with us? Oh, there's my man, PJ Allen. What is happening? Mo Ray, thank you for joining me. Vodka, what's going on? Miss Valerie, how you doing, Miss Valerie? Eric, thank you for joining. I'm smooth, you know that. Hey, King Kane, you know, I'm really smooth tonight. Hey, B Brown, what's going on? Where's CWE though? What's CWE? CWE crying, talking about he you know, y'all heard CWE last night. One that was with us last night, and he was talking shit about the Sixers. What happened? Embiid, what did I say? Put the mask on tonight, and he was hooping. He was hooping. And I'll be honest, I watched half of it on replay. And let me tell you what I did tonight. So we put most of my daughter's hoop up, but we didn't put the basket on because the weather's been funky. So we just had to put the basket on. I'm looking at the blueprints, and you know, I'm dyslexic, so the shit seems one way. So it's hard holding this big thing up in your arm and trying to get this little bolt way under here and, you know, get the socket going. And yeah, I put the shit on wrong. So I had to take all that shit off, put it back on again. My daughter's shoveling the sand. Again, you get them hoops where they ain't stationary. I got to go get the spikes tomorrow because you can get spikes for that shit too. But anyway, she's shoveling the sand in. And so I had to take all that apart, put it back in. Then it took me a minute to get it on the 10-foot pole mark. By the time I got done, I cussed out like 2 blocks worth of people where I knocked on the door. fuck you. I'm mad because the hoop didn't go up. But they used to me tripping, so they was like, ha ha, hey, who was that? That was just Brian. You know, he's pissed off again, so he just cussed me out. You know, I like a good cussing out every now and then. So that's how my night went. But I got to shoot the J. So thoughts on the death? We talked about that last night. We talked about Black Mask. There you go. Oh, I forgot to say that my co-host here, Nobody's Fool, forgot to mention that. Yeah, I'm feeling real good. I'm funky tonight. Black Mask. If you knew Embiid put that black mask on, what was gonna happen? I told y'all, didn't I tell y'all he was gonna have the mask on? He's supposed to have this face on, but you know, I was able to do it. We talked about that last night, Moray. And what did Lobo say? In Lobo's show, they showed 3 or 4 different ages. The oldest they got him is born in shit. I think Lobo said 65, which would have made him. My brother was born in 66 and he just turned 56, right? Yeah, I'm about to be 61. So what year was the motherfucker born? What year was he born? So I ain't got much to say. As I said last night, I never saw the brother. I saw more the last couple of days, yesterday, today, than I've ever, and all I've ever seen is what Sly put on. I have no, even knowing he died, I have no inclinations to hear what the fuck he got to say. From what I've heard, there's nothing of interest that that brother got to say. So very likely they probably took him out. As I've said it before, no one cuts cocaine with fentanyl. I mean, it makes no sense. You can go get, what is it called? Ibu some shit. It's a fucking, it makes you shit stuff. It's a little chalky stuff, and that's what you cut it with because the coke absorbs this shit. Who would take, okay, I just got these MIGs, under, the smidge, like some salt shit. Who says that? Who does that? Well, we just need to put a little fentanyl in it to make the coke better. That no one does that. That is not what a hustler would do. That makes no sense. So if it is in there, it is for assassination. Now, I don't know if the person he was with snorted some or not, but there's no way that you're selling that. That shit don't numb your mouth. Most motherfuckers that snort, or if they even smoke, even when you smoke crack or base or however, if he did it, I can't even see him mixing fentanyl with it if he was smoking it. So that makes no sense. As ex-hustler, ex-cocaine seller, it is no way that makes sense. So I don't know. He looks fake. You can see where he got the fake hair. Again, I've seen pictures. The one picture Sly put on, or somebody put on, where he's got the cuff out. Who made famous wearing the cuff out your suits? That was some J. Edgar Hoover shit. You watch the old, there was a movie about it, but J. Edgar was like, leave an inch of the cuff off. That's the J. Edgar Hoover, But I ain't got nothing to say about that motherfucker, man. What I did say, and I'll say this again, it's sad that people celebrate a brother dying, a brother that ain't never hurt nobody, a brother ain't never harmed anybody. So why would so much hate and joy being over him dying? I don't get that. When do we celebrate other melanated people dying? I mean, where'd that come from? Where are we happy that a melanated person died? I mean, where do you get that mentality? What did he call it? Uncle Sam's curse? Ain't that what they called it? Uncle Sam's curse? Only people under Uncle Sam's curse would do that, would celebrate another melanated person dying. Nothing to celebrate. So, yeah, I think he was whack too. Lovable loser, Chris Paul. Yeah, King Kane. Did y'all peep that? He had 5 turnovers. It was the second quarter. What did I write here? 10-minute mark. 10-minute mark of the second quarter. He had 5 turnovers. And then he turned his where'd I put this? He had his sixth turnover. Okay. He had his fifth turnover at the 10-minute mark. He turned around and threw his sixth turnover at the 7:50 mark. Now you tell me they trying to win. You tell me that. They trying to win. They ain't trying to win. People are saying, I've skipped quite a bit where people are saying it was the Red Bull and Coke, but I don't buy it. Nah. Hey, Black Trunks, thank you for joining. That's it. Yeah, he got a toupee. He got that spray in stuff. I was looking at I looked at the pictures. I'm like, oh, he got all that spray in, you know. He got all that spray in. Yeah, he was wearing a lace front. Oh, absolutely. It's something there. Yeah. There you go, Valerie. There you go. Hey, Vaca, 5 and 10. Sheesh. Yeah, 5 turnovers. People go, the point guards in the NBA go the whole game with 3 or 4. And you telling me this dude's got that many in the first half? That's point shaving. That's point shaving. Oh, let's stop the presses. Let's stop the presses. There he goes, right there. There he goes. What you got to say? What I tell you, baby? What I tell you yesterday? What I tell you, CWE? I was late. My bad. I'm drinking too, baby. I'm drinking too. Philly might come back. You might be right. Hey, I'm talking shit. I'm talking shit. I'm talking shit. But yeah, but again, I watched a lot of it on replay because I was fucking with that hoop all night. And what did I tell y'all? And I'm in the money tonight. Philly won, made money. The Wild made money. The Wild kicked their ass. What was it? 5-2, 5-1, 5-2? Won that one. I won money. Now this wasn't really big money, but my teammate called me. He was bragging about the Michigan Panthers. And I'm like, man, he's like, come on, what you want to put on it? I'm like, I don't care about that weak football. He's like, come on, man. So I bet him. He lost. He called me. He's like, oh, he already sent the money, of course. And the Philly game, I didn't touch. I let that go. I let that one go. Or not the Philly game, but the Dallas game. I didn't touch that one. I was like, yeah, this game's too unpredictable. So I didn't touch that one. Sam Jones, ritual still in effect. That's a good point. That's a good point. Celtics, Philly, if you're right, I don't see Bucks advancing. Yeah, I don't see the Bucks advancing. Sam, yeah, I still see that, CWE. I say that's pretty valid point. I won't put that out of hand. Game 1, don't really see them pushing Philly this season. It's about for connection with Miami, Golden State. I don't know. I still think it's going to be. I think the Suns might win it. Okay. I'll say the Suns is going to beat Dallas. I don't think the Suns is going to beat the Warriors. But we'll see. I'm going to touch on something that Sly said tonight. He was talking about the guardian ad litem, and I've told this story before. So my children were first given to me. We went to court another 4 or 5 months later. The social worker who went way beyond her way to steal my stuff with my ex, way beyond her way as a social worker, she testified they gave the children to her. Guardian ad litem went with it. Well, few weeks living with her, CPS goes in the house, takes my children. Because I think what started it all is my son, and I just remembered, when it was my visitation, my son came back. My son came over and he like had red marks all under here. Like red marks, like somebody had choked him. And I'm like, what is that? And he told me the story. He said their mother was gone and they had a babysitter. He said they was watching some stuff. He said the babysitter choked him and left. Now, again, they were so young, they didn't know time, but they said that we was by ourselves a long time, Dad, a long time. So I'm like, whoa, I'm tripping. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. So I like call the people. I'm like, this chick is not taking care of my children. Like, what are you going to do? So they go into her place As I said before, she stole my grandfather's table. She stole a bunch of shit, but she stole my 50-year-old table. This dude that take the marble top off it and had he had like a plywood little piece on it. He was living in the basement of her house. They found a little bit of heroin and they found needles. And you know, later I had pictures of all this shit. So I find out where they at. They set a court date for this. This is like Friday or something like that. So my boys had to stay. Another. Well, okay, this is a later story. My boys had to stay with the state. You know, there's a place where they keep juveniles taken from CPS. They had to stay like 2-3 days in this place. We go to court like Monday. They bum rush me. They bum rush me because they gotta give me my children. So, but the guardian ad litem, we go back to court, and the guardian ad litem brought a lawyer with her. First couple dates, no lawyer. My lawyer whispered in my ear, so we got her. She said, why you think she got that lawyer with you? Because everything else she said from now on, we got her. We got her. We got her. Every other time we met with her, before she's in court talking shit, she ain't say shit after that. Her lawyer spoke for her. She didn't utter. We met with her 3 more times in court. She didn't utter one word. Her lawyer said everything. And we ended up suing that chick because she was liable. Now, the social worker got out of it. The social worker never came back to court. The judge didn't make her come to court. And so you can go after these people if they make mistakes. But it was just funny. Soon as my lawyer saw her, or my attorney saw her attorney, she was like, "Oh, we got them." She's like, "Me and you about to split 20." I'm like, "Really?" She's like, "I'm filing paperwork today against her." Why you think she got somebody? She was in court just representing the children. Yeah. So, yeah. The Warriors got to stop being manhandled by Memphis. Yeah. Yeah, it's very devastating. When they took my children from me, I was kicking it with this chick, and I quit taking her calls. I took it out on her. And she was a really cool chick. And so it was like, I couldn't believe it. It was like, they saw what she was. And I ain't trying to bash her, but just kind of add to what Sly said. I mean, this is how they'll do you. This is how, and I am one of the few men in this state that got custody of their children. I think it's like 5. I am one of 5 men that got custody of their children in this state. My oldest son's mother was chasing fools around and let my son get in the system. I talked to her 2 exes since. I got no holler. I got no holler for her at all. Oh, yeah, say less, for real, say less. Like she tried to make one move where my oldest son ran away from her. She was trying to snatch him up one time, and he ran away from her. She picked him up in school and thought they was making a move on me, and he booked. He's booked, and he was old enough. He ended up finding me, or I ended up finding him, and she had snatched my 2 youngest children from school. And my 12-year-old ran away from her. And then she wants to play I was the good mother. And again, I'm sorry, honey, if you see this, I'm just telling the truth. I ain't making none of this shit up. You can't you can come on and tell your side. Tell me if what I said is right, because I had a box like this full of the papers that broke her shit down. When we moved, we got back together, and the shit was in the basement, and she got rid of that shit over time. We stayed in that house for a year or so. She got rid of it because when I went to move out, I couldn't find any of those papers, and I could show you that shit. I mean, when they investigate you, they investigate the fuck out of you. And it was like a book like this of her and the dude she dealt with. It was like, in this home she had my children, she lived with 4 different dudes. The first dude she lived with, he ended up getting beat up by the police because she got drunk. They got to fighting. He threw her phone, which is terroristic threats, and the Minneapolis Police Department beat this motherfucker up. The second dude that lived with her, he climbed. She was living in a 2-story house. To get away from the police, this motherfucker climbed on top of the roof of the house for them to get him. The third dude she was with, this guy was about to get his nursing license. He was about to be a nurse. He broke her nose and got arrested. He broke her. She started fighting him. Again, she about 6'2". I think this dude was about 5'9". He broke her nose, them fighting. They arrested this dude. Ruined his nursing career. And there was one other dude that lived with her too. So this chick was like totally out of control. And then she's like, well, I was so frustrated about what happened. Get the fuck out of here. I'm never having kids. I'm never having children. They never want men raising their children. No, not really. No, they don't. They don't. I don't want now child support. I got 2 more years of child support. I had one cousin. He paid child support till he was about 35, 36. And I mean a lot of them. He had 5 or 6 boys. And yeah. He posted on Facebook when the shit was over. Like, I never understood. As I said before, my generation, my father, I found papers where my father was $10,000 behind. My father in the 60s and 70s, he had to pay something like $70, $80 a month. And this dude got $10,000 behind by the time I was a senior. Don't you know, if in my 30s, there were people suing their parents getting that money back. So technically, I probably could have sued my father because I found the paperwork. But my mother, my stepfather worked at General Motors, made good money. My mother sold real estate. He would send me like $20 maybe a week. Insulting my mother, not sending it to her. He would send me like $20 a week. And that's a fact. But, it was different then. You move out of town. I am 21. I'm not going to get caught up. Stay never say. Stay never say never, my man. Yeah, because you never know. My dad never paid child support. How you get away with it? I heard he owns my mom $30K. Yeah, that ain't going away. He ain't working. Because it ain't like the old days. The old days in the 60s, you could move out of state and they wouldn't fuck with you. But that in the 90s, they started going over state lines, making motherfuckers pay. So like one time, my ex, I'm working and behind my back, she's getting cash assistance and food stamps. At one time, I owed 40 grand. 40 grand. For a woman that I'm married to and my 3 sons with her. 40 grand. And so I went to talk to the child support people and they were like, you're married to her? I'm like, yeah, we're married. You got this certificate? And I just happened to bring it. Boom. I end up only owing for my oldest son like 8,000-9,000. But at one time, they took 7 grand from me. 7 grand. That's what I was going to get back. They took all that. And I end up owing like 3 or 4 grand after that. But 7 grand, do you know what a hit that is? And it all really got started because of her being greedy. Because she ain't really want to work. He can't leave the country at all. Now, a lot of times he can't get the license. Yeah, you can't leave the country. You can't get a passport. That's one where they'll block your passport. No, you can't leave the country when you owe that like that. They will not let you leave the country. That's a fact. And most places take your license too. I saw a check for one. You saw a check for one? Okay. My dad makes $90K a year. He got a business. He's just not going to pay. You're going to have to get her to go after him financially. Because he's still old. If he owed 30 grand, that ain't going away. So I'm wondering how he's getting on the books without taxes and stuff. Because that's what they do. They get into your taxes. I saw a check for $1 come through the mail. And my stepdad said, what is this? You can't even buy a loaf of bread with this. Fast forward talking to Big Paul, you wouldn't have thought he paid You would have thought he paid. Okay, yeah. That's my dad. My dad was telling some stupid ass stories talking about my mother put him in jail. And my mother's like, what the fuck is this nigga talking about? That's what she's like, what is this nigga talking about? We ain't never put him in jail. I ain't never go after him. My father went to New York for 3 years. And my mother always thought he left the state, not have to pay. My mom ain't like that. She not worried about it. Okay, you might be able to have to go after him. I know there was a time where people was going after their parents and getting that money. I know that started with my generation. I know some people. Well, I ain't know them, but I read about the case laws, the case laws. So it was possible. It was possible because I know my dad owed 10 grand when I graduated. Child support is sad. Woman be paying for hair and nails and child support instead of bills. For real. My ex is on SSI. They can't garnish SSI. They can't garnish it. So, and this is how fucked up the system is. This is what they told me. They said, well, since we can't garnish SSI, we're going to just not do nothing. Now, if this is a man, now listen to this. If it was a man and had SSI, because they couldn't garnish it, the bill would still be going cha-chink, 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 cha-chink. It would never stop. But because it was a European woman, they ain't charge her. They didn't charge her. They never do that. Just because they can't go after her money, most of the time they still keep that bill building up. But they ain't do that. When I lived in Michigan, was the only time, because that was before she got disability. When I lived in Michigan, she was paying me child support a little bit. Because I got some like odd checks. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And, they sent me 80, 90 bucks out of nowhere. 80, 90 bucks come. Well, it wasn't much. I remember telling Big Paul, I don't want to hear that shit. No, shit, yeah. That's why, my father has kind of got memory loss, but I don't know. I lived with my father in 3rd grade. And let me just tell you, this sums up my father and my relationship right here. When I was a junior for our homecoming game, I caught a touchdown pass and won the game. That's what changed my life in sports. More than hooping, more than anything, that one moment changed my high school life. So I'm really happy, after I come out the locker room, my parents is just ecstatic, my stepdad, my mother, my aunts and uncles and relatives and cousins is just all out the locker room, cool with me. So I called to tell my father, and my father was like, yeah, I know you did it. I was at the game. I'm like, what do you mean you was at the game? He's like, I saw you do it. I'm thinking, you didn't come say nothing? And what it really was, it came down to it. My father was a failed athlete. As I said before, my father has told so many lies that it is just natural conversation for this nigga. And he's an intelligent nigga, but about his sports, he's lied from day one. From trying to say that he went to the University of Iowa, where my godfather went. He didn't go because he was living with my mom, to saying he played Canadian football. I'm trying to think of the other one. It was one more that and I've said this before. My father said that he was a world-class track athlete. He was world-class runner. Well, I don't know that being in high school, class C, the smaller high schools, that makes you world-class, because that's the only track this nigga ran. So I don't know that you're world-class running in high schools. He ain't been to the Drake relays. He ain't been to the Penn relays. But he had told that lie so many times, it was just part of it. Because last conversation we had, we was just talking about running. And he was like, well, it came out. Anything about running. Well, I was world-class track athlete. He was a superstar that didn't get far. And I've told this story before. Do y'all want to laugh at me? I'm going to change it up. Do y'all want to laugh at me? Now, I'm cool. I'm just cool being cool. And I've always been cool, but I can laugh at myself when it's time to laugh at myself. So I'm going to give you guys a chance to laugh at me. Trying to think what year this shit is. This must be, must be what Michigan win? 80, Ramil Robertson, 89? I won't say this, more like 87. It says 87. It says it's other pictures. Now, don't concentrate on these, what do they call these? Corduroy shorts. I'm wearing corduroy shorts that are very high. Don't look at that part. But this is a pimp back in the day. You see why I got 8 children. You see how I used to look. I know it's kind of blurry, but look at them shoes. Look at them. I think them the David Robinsons, Chris Webbers. Now I talked about the fanny pack. Them the original. That's the original fanny pack that is a melanated couple. They made them. I bought that in the Mall of America in 87, 88, somewhere around there. The person that invented the fanny pack. But look at them corduroy shorts. Who the fuck? Who the fuck? And I think I had a couple colors of them. And they too goddamn high. But I'm golden. Living my life like I'm golden. But look at the shoes. Look at that. I think them is David Robinsons. I think that's what those was called. Chris Webber's, David Robinsons. But them shorts got to go. So I can laugh at myself. That shit's funny. I can laugh at myself. I told you we was all alike. That fool saw me in the paper. It was like, yeah, I saw you on the news and in the paper and still don't come to my games. My brother, and see. Hey, weird. You my grandpa's age. Yeah, I'm 60, baby. If you only 21. The socks high as hell. I still kind of wear them like that. They just ain't white no more. Oh, yeah, I think those is David Robertson's. Read My Soul was in here. He could tell me what kind they are, but I think they're the David Roberts. Chris Webber's too. Webber wore them too. Tube socks. Yes. Tube socks didn't have no hole in, like how the shoe socks have a foot. Tube socks didn't have that. Tube sock was just the sock, and then you made the hole as the heel as you put it on. Then the Nike Air Force joints. They need to Nike Air Force. Okay. Yeah, because they had the strap and shit. Yeah, I used to hoop in them. They was new in that picture though. Larry Bird, NBA socks. Okay, big stepper. About the Air Revolutions with the straps. Okay, Air Revolutions. Okay. My grandpa served in the Air Force for 22 years. Right on for him. Right on. But Air Force Revolutions, yeah, they had the strap. Yeah, I told you I was hooping. Just hooping. We had just got our license to get married, my first wife and I. That's why we was down. That's downtown Kalamazoo. But we got married in 87. So I don't know. I got to look at the other pictures to see which Michigan shirt. Because I can't imagine why we was downtown. Had to be to get our license when we got married. Checking in. Welcome, Mr. Lamborghini Leglock. See, I ain't got no problem people laughing at me because I know them shorts. I was looking like, who buys a pair of corduroy shorts for the summertime? They was just trying to get rid of the material. Let me see. All right. And I ain't gonna say no names, but I'm tired of hearing this Tartaria stuff. I'm tired of people trying to talk about that we built European style buildings. See, society builds things on fractals. The blocks, the squares, that's Europeans. That ain't got nothing to do with it happening in Americas. When you see this stuff, when you see their art, it ain't got nothing to do with making blocks like that. To say that we had castles, it started from people that is Aryans. Why would the Oman? Why would the Mayan? Why would the Toltec? Why would the Aztec? Don't you know they built the biggest pyramids is in America, the most pyramids in America. Told you many stories. They took that information, they took that technology and showed the rest of the world. As I said, they would show up in Kemet coming out of caves. They'd come out of the mountain somewhere out of them caves. So y'all hear this stuff? Know that you being misled. Know that you being misled. And I heard a brother, you know, but I ain't gonna say no names. It's a sister. I'm friends with both of them on Facebook. Don't be misled by that shit. That ain't got nothing to do with us. Mud flood. Get the fuck out of here with that. And I do got another point I'll bring up. They made those white, gray, blue, and red. Okay, because I think mine was just black, gray, and white. I think we built the White House. Well, I mean that was later. Yeah, they built the White House like revolutionary times. It's time to vote. I'm voting for nobody. What did Richard Pryor say in Brewster's Millions? None of the above. Vote for none of the above. I'm gonna hit another thing that I have to say the younger generations is probably right. There's a business called the antique business. And do you know what young people think about the antique business? Fuck that old shit. Young people look at antiques as like, why would we want this big ass wooden hutch that's taking up all this goddamn room? I don't care if it is 100 years old. Why would I want that? I mean, most stuff 50, 60 years old in the old way of looking at things is antiques. Young people look at it as throw that shit away. And in a way, I kind of agree with that. Because some of this old, like old furniture, like that Louis V furniture, that's the most uncomfortable shit in the world. I don't know how even back then they sat on that shit if you buy that old shit. So younger people don't give a fuck about old junk because it's a lot of junk. I mean, there's value in some of that stuff, but again, if people don't have any value, don't look at it as a value, it loses its value. So right on, I say fuck that old junk. Most of it is junk. You know, you try to give a value, it's sentimental value, but as a business, yeah, fuck old stuff. It's not a good investment. It's not a good investment. Oh, I forgot to grab. I finally found some 100% chocolate. I want to say this. As I said before, for practical spiritual uses, I try to say things where you ain't really got to buy, you ain't got to order stuff. She legit really can help your knowing. It makes everything clear when you meditate. However, if you cannot find that, most of you can find 90% real chocolate. And I ain't talking about the powder, the cocoa powder. I'm talking about real chocolate bars, 90% or higher. Lin's makes 90. Another brand makes 92%. And then tonight at Walmart, of all places, I found 100% chocolate. So this it can make your dreams clear, but it definitely can make your meditation clear. It can make the visions clear. So I wanted to give that aspect of what dark chocolate, real chocolate can do. So I wanted to put that out there. I did want to put that out there. So those of you that have that interest, that's something practical I can give to you. What's everybody? It's time to vote. Even though I argue with somebody in both sides. Twins won today too. I didn't bet. I don't think. Yeah, I saw they won. I don't think. I didn't put any money on the Twins. I pay attention to spell words, and I wanted to give you guys a new spell word that I saw. And remember, they got the video out there. You got this. That's a spell. You know, Biden saying, this is the thing. I did a thing. You see it on Facebook. I just did a thing and showing some shit. Edward Jones, and I'm going to tell you, and I've said this before on Wax, it's on Wax. That is who I, my mutual funds, that is who does my bidding. So I'll say that. But Edward Jones put some shit out, said, "So glad we did this." Do you understand how these spells, what they want to do with this stuff? They want this stuff to penetrate your psyche. That's why I get back to the end of the day. They want parrot spells to penetrate your psyche. You got this. I remember Michael Jordan, Space Jam. Remember Harold, before he got killed, said, "I ain't going out like this." And then Michael Jordan repeats it in Space Jams. Y'all remember that in the locker room? "I ain't going out like this." He's copied something from a dramatic movie in a clown show. Sorry, nobody's fool. But it was, you see how this parroting spell goes. So it's just funny that I saw Edward Jones say that. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. So they've been showing the Noah's Ark commercial. I didn't grab the book to look it up, but the first flood stories come from the Sumerians. All right. So what them peoples did is them peoples was taught how to read and write by the Greeks. Look at all the Torahs. The Torahs are all, the original ones are all in Greek. Okay, so them peoples was ruled by the Romans, taught how to read and write by the Latins. Okay, by the Greeks. So all the original Torahs, but what happened? They had no stories. This little small group tribe of people had no stories. So what they did is they plagiarized all the stories of other people. The Sumerians, and this goes into the Anunnaki and all that shit, but the Sumerians, his name starts with a Z. I can't remember how to say it, but it starts with a Z. That's one of the first. That's where they copied this from. So the whole book, Darknet X on his show, Prophet of Thoughts, maybe had a dude, religious dudes up there, and I mean it's just brainwash. I mean brain dead. I mean, well, God and your belief. I'm listening to a young dude talk this shit, and I'm like, what is wrong with you? What is wrong? Well, I don't even want to hear that shit. But so the dude somewhere built a what Noah's Ark, which makes no sense. They be killing them where the dinosaurs. I saw one of them Catholics or Christians, probably a Christian on TV, talking about the reason there was no dinosaurs in the Bible or on Noah's Ark because they took baby dinosaurs. That's what this motherfucker said. Well, they took baby dinosaurs. So, this new stuff trying to build a new Noah's Ark, saying they found a piece of Noah's Ark in Turkey is all bullshit. It's all bullshit. And so they showing commercials so you can go visit so somebody can make money. They say it's a zip line in Noah's Ark. Zip line somewhere around there, like they build an amusement park and shit. 3 stories, Come on, it's the stupidest story in the world, and all you can read that shit, and it's all made up, all plagiarized. Ancestor Production getting their ass about how they plagiarized all of it because they had no history. There's no proof of David and Goliath. There's no proof of that. These was hill people that lived in a small little tribe. Not significant. What is it? Israel beat. Should grab my book right here. Judeans. It was like there was two separate tribes. The Judeans and Israelis was 2 separate tribes. One of the tribes ended up siding with the Syrians to wipe out, I think, the Jordanians. Maybe my name is wrong. Maybe that name is wrong. But and then the Syrians end up wiping them out. So there is no history of none of this existing. It is all plagiarized, made up from other stories. So wanted to throw that out there. USFL does not appear to have grip gloves. It does not appear yet. One dude did not catch the ball. He caught the tip and he kind of dropped it. They were like, well, he kept control. My phone is not very charged, so I'm not going to go too long tonight, but there was one play. They on the goal line. Again, the Michigan team kicker is hurt or whatever. They didn't bring anybody else in. So earlier, Mark Sanchez shows a kind of V play, and it's like you fake to the right and everybody runs to the left. Pretty simple football. So they're on the goal line to go for 2, and they're running strong left, wide receiver flanker, You guys want to know that? One back set. So they got a tight end flanked off two. Let me think on the line. No, the tight end on the strong side would have been, no, he was like an H-back. Yeah, because, no, let me get this right. Okay, so tight end had to be strong side, receiver, flanker, and then they had, so they must have had 5 wide. So then they had the receiver. So the receiver on the weak side goes in motion. The DB comes in. So it's a tighter set. The DB is clearly run. No one goes out for a pass. Clearly run on which would be the left side of the defense. Again, the action is looking like everybody's going to the left. So the DB, the outside linebacker, and the 9 position person all go inside. The back just jogs around. I wanted to make a video, but I'm like, this shit is too ridiculous. I mean, the play made no sense. If you didn't see that the USFL is just show, that play showed you. No one plays like that. Not 3 dudes that clearly see it is a run are not going to all go inside. No one's, the linebacker and the 9 position person, you got outside contained. Your responsibility is not inside, so why would they go inside? Once the DB sees this a run, he has to stand outside contained too. But all of them run inside and the back just, I mean, it's just silly as silly. Let me see where we at. Oh, excuse me. The Chews. Greetings, Nico. Okay. Hey, Lorenzo, how you doing, man? Thank you for joining me. Is Pro Skaters satanic logo? Is Pro Skaters? You got to give me a little more than that. I don't know what that means. Yeah, I'm a 90s baby and a natural millennium. I get rid of this shit quick. So the old shit got to go. I have no problem upgrading to the new. There you go. Okay, I think I'm pretty caught up. Is Pro Skaters? You got to give me a little more than that. I never lived in the 90s. Damn, the Chews. I am a 2000s baby. Yeah. My sons was born in 01 and 02, my youngest sons. You mean I was born? You see the WNBA commercial on ESPN with Candace Parker. Didn't they make Candace Parker the logo? Isn't that the logo of her? Or is that Rebecca Lobo, who only played a half a season? But yeah, I saw it. Throwing up. Yeah, I saw that. Yep, I saw that. I was supposed to be born in 01. I came early. Oh, okay. Yeah, my 21-year-old he's about to be 21. He'd be 21 in about 3-4 weeks. And the baby man that lives with me, he's damn near 6'8" now. Study out dope too. Started out. Yeah, Rizzo threw up the devil horns. Wow. I'm gonna watch WNBA. I know people who hate it. I used to go. My cousin was coaching on the Chicago Sky, and then he was assistant coach with the Indiana team, the Fever. I went to games. Like he came once or twice a year. When he played with the Fever, he came 2 or 3 times a year. So we always went to games. That was my first time my daughter went to a pro game was seeing the WNBA. And then, we would wait for him at the game. That's how I studied. That's how I studied the hoops so much. You get a back courtside pass. You get the pass to stay and go into the court after the games. They don't let you shoot most of the time. They don't let the children shoot. But I mean, sometimes I would be on that court 45 minutes and I'm just at the hoop. Ain't nobody paying attention to me. And I'm just trying to follow the electronics. I had pictures. I probably still got pictures of them on Facebook. But I'm looking at the hoop. I'm looking, all these electronics going in. I'm like, wait a minute. It's a little too much here. I have Wild winning the Stanley. Yeah, they got a good chance this year. This is one of their best years. They look good tonight. Oh, it's Sue Bird. Okay, Sue Bird. Thank you, CW. I wasn't sure because that's fairly new. WNBA use Magnus. Well, so does college. So does college. I think I did some college games. So does college. My brother and cousin went to the NBA game last summer in Dallas. Bet. I've been to a lot of WNBA games. I saw Maya Moore play, Augusta, Lindsay Whalen, that is the coach of the Gophers now. When they won the championship, I went to some of the playoffs and some of the championship games. Yeah. So, I mean, they were selling out when because they put a new glass face on the Target Center. So they played some of their games. There was a summer they had to play at the Barn, University of the Gophers, the Golden Gophers. Their place is called the Barn. It has the own cager court where, the court is on, you got to walk up when you check in. That goes back to the cager days when the cage was around the court. That's why you see some old writings calling basketball players cagers. That's how the courts were back then. Because of the fence, the players was kind of sitting a little lower, but that old court reminds me, we used to play the tournaments in the prison. In the prison, it was a cage, around the gym, and all the prisoners sat up and, had to watch from, they couldn't come on the court because the courts went to locker rooms and our locker rooms went out of the place. And, you got the prisoners like trade jerseys with me. They won't know. I tell you, my best friend growing up, I've said this, told this story before. He did 10, what did Jerry do? Jerry did about 10, 11 years. He shot somebody. And then he tried to rob a store, and his getaway car was the city bus. His getaway car was the city bus. So Jerry did about 10. So we go up into jail. We had a tournament. He come in the locker room and bring a joint. We smoke a joint in the motherfucking locker room. I don't know what trouble I could have got in, but nothing happened. I end up hooping. And it was funny. He said the one thing that they missed the most in prison was ice cream. He said very rarely did they have ice cream. I am a Liberty fan. I met Candace Parker in person at the ATL. Okay. I didn't meet Candace Parker, but when I told the story before, the NCAA tournament was here that Saturday. They gave away balls and jerseys and had free events at our convention center. So I got to see her and Grant Hill, Ralph Sampson. I saw Ralph Sampson when we were younger. But yeah, I've seen her. I don't know. Her hands are longer than mine. Her feet are bigger than mine. And she's a tall woman. And shoulder to elbow. That's all I got to say. Look at her brother. Candace Parker brother played. If you go back to the McDonald All-Star game, I want to say her brother was in the dude side. So her brother played college ball, if I remember right. Look at them two. I've said, and I'm going to stick with this. Title IX did help women sports dramatically. I told the story in the 70s. You see my cousins. You see the dudes. The basketball team got 2 jerseys, a couple sets of warm-ups. The football team got all, and this is in the 70s, early 70s. Football team got all new home and away jerseys, equipment. And then you look at the girls' stuff, the women's stuff, and they got tape on their numbers. That's not fair. Even though they don't generate any revenue, it's still not fair. But one thing they snuck in there that trans athletes could play women's basketball. That's why I don't get why they making a fuss about that swimmer. I don't want to hear about that swimmer. Robin Roberts was one of the first trans people to play major college basketball. Robin Roberts, that's on Good Morning America, that supposedly had the cancer thing. Look at tennis. And I don't care what you say about, I can't say Serena, but Venus is obviously not what she's supposed to be. She ain't had no baby. Dudes can't have babies. But if you look at Renee Richardson, the WTPA, I think it's called, allowed Renee Richardson back in the early 70s. So they already telling you that this is allowed in women's tennis. It's already allowed. And it's been allowed in women's basketball since Title IX. That is one thing they snuck in there. So there's no reason to get mad about that swimmer. Ain't nobody getting mad about all these dudes that hooping. Nobody gets mad about that. And I've said before, my history is doing AAU basketball, and there's a million other leagues. And I'm seeing For 25 years, I'm seeing little dudes playing with the girls. And not one or two. And don't think this stuff still don't go on, because my daughter's neighbor is into state competitive cheer for her age. And I watched where there's a time where they show every level what they've learned. So the varsity and JV won the finals, the national finals competitive cheer in their group. And I counted about 4 or 5 young men that was being, raised as girls competing in this competitive cheer. I mean, I've taken anatomy, physiology, kinesiology. I've been to Michigan State and looked at bodies in the morgue. Do y'all know this? Check this out. Do y'all know that dudes will their bodies to these medical schools? They get paid, and they get buried. There's a lot, and they bury them, and they give them crosses. They don't put their names on them, but they put crosses, and they pay for their burial. But they use the bodies as cadavers to study medicine. I mean, I've been on bodies, and it's funny the way they try to preserve these organs. And they would lift, they keep that stuff wet, and they would lift the person up, and like their organs would be in paper and stuff. And we had to know because nurses, the school I went to, one time we went down there, I was with a bunch of nurses too. Nurses definitely got to know all this stuff. And we're looking at this organs, and I'm looking at this old dude that was about 65, that, bald European, and we looking inside of his junk, and I'm like, oh, but yeah. They support European females more, give them the most promotions. Sometimes they do. New York Liberty is 0-4 NBA Finals. That's sad, like the Vikings. That's a good point. At City Bus, yeah. So this was his plan. So, okay, this dude is waiting to go to court over shooting somebody. He's out on bail. While he's out on bail, he goes into the mall to rob this store, and he got about a couple grand. But his mistake was he did not realize the place had one way in and one way out. So his plan was to just run through it, go out the back door, and then he was going to cut through the neighborhoods. Well, he couldn't do that. He had to retrace his steps, and that threw his plan off. And so he threw the gun away, and there was the city bus, and he jumps on the city bus. Apparently somebody saw him, and that's where he got caught. Wasn't a very thought out plan. Yeah, not a very thought out plan. How many men do you think are in the WNBA? I would say 30%. 30%. 30%. If not higher. 30%. Out of a team, I'll even take it further. Out of every WNBA team, they start at least 2 to 3 trans people. Every team. 2 to 3 trans people. 2 to 3. I'll say 2. Let's just keep it there. At least 2. Just watch them. Look at the college game we just saw. Paige that's from here. You can look at her. Tell she's a young lady. You can just look at her. This right here. This is what you can't get away from. This. You can't get away from that. It's not sometimes. I don't care how tall the woman is. This is a proportion that shows they're a man or a woman. You can't get away from that. And I ain't hating on them. I'm just saying this to here. That's why I say, look at the tennis player. Look at Serena. And I said, she's got the horse face. Trans people tend to have horse faces. They tend to have it's almost a lot of trans people look like Down syndrome people in the regards of they tend to have a horse-like face. Sandra Bullock, Tori Spellman, Tori Spellman from 90210. Those are 2 examples of what was considered a horse face. And Serena, if you look at Serena, she has what's called a horse face of a woman, and that tends to be trans people. And I'm not trying to bash anybody. I said before, my daughter's gay and my son is gay. I got a gay son and I got a gay daughter. So it's not trying to bash them. I accept them, but I'm saying it is a lie about these sports. It's allowed, you know. So I don't know why they get mad at that. Robin's a bro. Yeah, just check it out, Vaca. Look at Robin Roberts. Look at her college playing pictures. Totally a dude. I like the NBA team names. Their nicknames match the cities. Yeah. Well, yeah, kind of good point. Like they got the links here. Gay bro vibes. Robin has a country accent because she's from Mississippi, but her voice is deep to be a woman. Just look at her though. You know, I ain't hating, you know. Imagine New York Liberties wins a title before the Nets. That would be funny. Oh, but what do you guys think the Statue of Liberty is? What do you think that is? What do you think the Statue of Liberty is? Do y'all think that's a woman? That ain't nothing but the god Apollo in drag. And I'm gonna tell you the whole story. And this is a little of Wes Pineri's work going to about the Anunnaki. So I'll change some of the names just because in the names I don't remember. I don't remember the precise names, but basically Marduk steals what would be considered, and I'm not using the right name, but considered Isis, but that's not the name. He takes her, impregnates her, and holds her hostage. Her father, her uncle. So if you know the names Eniki and Enil, Enil's son, this is his daughter. Her name ain't Isis, but that's basically what the character is. So Eniki's son and Marduk fight, and Marduk is the one where they get wearing the root or the emerald on his head. This is what Marduk is known for, having the emerald right here. Not a horn, but an emerald. He had an emerald right here. And Eniki's son, which is Marduk's cousin, cuts off the emerald, takes it, and cuts off his junk. So Marduk goes back to his temples. He starts dressing like a woman. He starts dressing like a woman. And that is where you get the Statue like of Liberty from. That's basically how this comes about. Marduk goes from being the male god to the divine feminine, fake god. And that's part of Marduk's story. So Marduk wasn't the horned one. He was the one wearing the emerald. But yeah, Statue of Liberty is a dude. You got stories for days. Your cousin's plan was hilarious. Plays in the Barclay Center. Yeah, they do. Lower than 30, you tripping. Lower than 30? It could be. I say 75%. I kind of 30% transgender. I kind of think so. Sabrina isn't a trans. Maybe Brittany. And they're about to let Brittany out. Brittany definitely, and Serena too. Look at her. They used to play in the Garden. Now they play in the Barclay. I wonder why. Serena is definitely a dude. Absolutely a dude. They go through all this fake stuff. You know, the fake baby bumps. They go through all that fake. People wonder about Rihanna. Is she really pregnant? I mean, it's just that they have this ritual. It's all ritual. The baby bump for Serena is ritual. It is redoing Marduk having a baby. That's Serena. They wear the fake baby bump, take all the pictures with, because again, this is Hollywood. They can do makeup. We see fake pregnant people on TV all the time. So you don't think they can fake that for 7-8 months? Yeah. Okay, 6 semicircles. It's a guy in a dress. What did the mag say? The mag was like lipstick on a pig. It's just lipstick on a pig. And I ain't come here to bash them. Statue of Liberty is a Freemason symbolic, and that's where Freemason colors. That's a good point. Yes, they do. And you know the 70s, the Nets wear the red, white, and blue. Isn't a trans? You can't convince me. I ain't trying to convince you. I ain't trying to convince you. You know, I'm just saying. Look, that's all I'm saying. I ain't trying to convince anybody. I just put it out there. Just look at it. Stop and look. That's all. That's all. Just stop and look. I ain't trying to bash them. As I said, I've watched this too many times in little girls basketball. Brittany Griner is a prime example of if you raised Brittany Griner as a boy, he wouldn't have matured enough to be effective. He would have been too weak as a boy. Even though he was tall, he wouldn't have been physically strong enough to compete as a boy. But the daddy and the mama said, hey, we're going to start feeding them these hormones and we'll pass it off as a girl. Because what do they only have to, when they get to college, they only have to test. They have so many hormones. That's why these track women, people get mad because the swimmers the same way. The swimmers started taking hormones, and the tests go back to the Olympics in the 70s. America was always trying to talk about how the Russians was having dudes. You know, they were saying that the Russians was the first to take these chemicals, but the Americans was doing it too. They wanted you to look at Russia and the Cold War as the ones that's doing it, trying to pass these dudes off, but America was doing the same thing for years. So this has been going on for Title IX is what, 74? Something like that. Title IX came in 74. This is how long it's been going on, since 74. Title IX helped trans people. So why are they getting mad at the swimmers? They've been doing it. It's nothing new. Nothing new. Crazy talk. You remember that video of Mike Tyson and Serena training together with boxing gloves? She towered over Mike like the Incredible Hulk. Well, Mike ain't that tall either, though. They try to talk about Mike's 6 foot. Yeah, Mike ain't 6 foot. Mike ain't 6 foot at all. Mike more like 5'9", 5'10", maybe. That's why some of his fights was fixed too. I ain't saying all of them, but watch them early fights. Watch closely. Watch closely. Now, he broke Jesse Ferguson's nose. Yeah, he definitely did. He hit Jesse Ferguson with a uppercut, and I mean, he like smashed his nose into his brain, it looked like. So, you know, these are just possibilities. These are just realms of possibilities. That's all I'm bringing out there. I'm saying this is a realm of possibility. Do your own research. What is that? What have I made YouTube famous? Look it up. Look it up. That's all I'm saying. Just look it up. Investigate. How long I've been going? Damn, I've been going on that long? Wow. Wow. I'm talking about size and mass. Serena was hella bigger than Mike. Exactly. Size and mass. Yeah. I mean, you know, Brittany Griner paying child support. And, you know, they try to say, well, you know, if you're married to someone, you're responsible. No. If you're married to a woman, this is the law. I'll say this. This was law in Michigan, and I found out this is the same law in this state. Now, states are all different, but if you were married to a woman and she got pregnant and you did not think the child was yours, with 5 years, you can challenge it. 5 years. If you challenge it, you do the blood and it's not yours, you get relief. You get legal relief. But you got to do it by the time they 5. If you don't do it by the time they 5, you're going to be liable till they 18 if you married. That's the law. And I know that's in Michigan, and I know it's here. So Brittany Griner could have challenged it. And do you see she didn't challenge it? Because they made that story up. The girl cheated. No, the girl didn't cheat. The girl didn't cheat. So I'm not going to labor on that. It ain't that big a deal to me. What did the Beatles say? Let it be. Give words of wisdom. Let it be. Let it be. That's how I look at it. But, you know, I don't go into this shit with my eyes wide shut. I calls them as I see them. That's all. You make your own conclusion. Make your own conclusion. But yeah, the games was disappointing tonight. They were predictable. I mean, Chris Paul hitting a 28-foot shot is not believable. the video I showed it a while where they was like 7 minutes left. You pull the Goldie with a minute or under, so you can have a rush of 6 people on 5. You don't pull the Goldie just because you're down 4-1. You don't pull the Goldie with 7 minutes left. And then the announcer says, well, you know, last time we saw this in last game, they scored with an open net. And then the play is set up where it's basically a pick and there's nobody back. And so the dude can take a slap shot from the other end and score. This is all theater. This is all theater. This is all theater. It is not a real play. So that's funny. Never heard. That's funny. You never heard of her dating anybody. Yeah. Too ugly for one. Too ugly for women. Too ugly for men. Sabrina doesn't even have a Adam's apple in her neck. You got to be trolling. You know what, though, CWE? You can get this shaved. You know that? Don't you know that? You can get this shaved. You can shave Adam's apples. You can have a little slit here and then go and shave it off. You didn't know that? You can shave the Adam apples down. Some people, you can look at old Hollywood people that's trans people. This goes back to Maria what is her name? Maria Durwich? Oh, what is her name? I can picture her face, but Hollywood actresses go way back. You can see as some of them get older, and you see how this starts to really hang, and they've had that surgery in there. But you can get surgery to shave your Adam's apple, so that ain't that. You know, they've been doing that forever. That's from the 60s. They were shaving Adam's apples in the 60s. And women would, you know, the women passing, they got it done for years. So that ain't no indication. The indication, again, is here to here. It's all you got to look at. If you in 10,000 years looked at some motherfuckers in the ground and you looked at who the man was and who the women is, right here does not lie. That can't be changed. Right there. They look at them dead bodies and they say, shoulder to elbow, this is a man, this is a woman. They don't go and say, well, this person, you know, even if the person had a flag there, they don't say, well, this person identified as a man or identified as a woman, but when they measure it, they do that measurement and see that body, they know the body is a man. I mean, you know, there's no way to get around that. We spent too many nights in front of our pictures and denial now. So much crap. Money talks. No, I mean, let's, you know, CW, that's all right. Why Sabrina didn't dominate the league if she's a man? What are you talking about? She didn't dominate. What are you talking about? Isn't her or the Maria chick the top tennis players ever? Didn't she win the most Grand Slams ever? She's in the top 1 or 2 of Grand Slams ever. That's dominating. That's dominating. Man, look, okay, here you go. Look at all the tournaments, them little minor injuries that she pulled out of. Because I'm a casual tennis fan, but look at all the tournaments she would pull out of. Nothing really wrong with her. You would see, and she, you know, she just pulls out. She loses the Coco. Remember, one of them lost to the Coco girl because that's who they was pushing. I mean, tennis is fake too. Tennis ain't real. There is not any professional level of sport that is real. Tennis is just as fixed as all these other sports. Because you're coming from the presumption that tennis is a real thing. It's not. It's fake. So she did dominate in a fake sport. What is Maria's name? And even her. I mean, again, the WTA was Renee Richardson. Back in the 70s, they let Renee Richardson, and they told you who Renee Richardson was. This is still the WTA. It ain't changed. Look it up. WTA allowed this in the 70s with Renee Richardson. Maria Macavalona, whatever her name is. Look at these people. Maria Sharapova. There you go. Look at her. Look at her. That she's a East German person, I think. The world is strange. Yeah, tennis too. Surgery that has been around since the 60s. Yeah, they've been shaving. You've been get this shaved. This ain't nothing new to get that shaved. You can see the old actresses have had it, because I know old ladies get this, but the old actresses, they got to get all this tightened up more because they've had this so many times. That's been around forever. Been around like Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe had hair extensions. I mean, you want to know how long hair extensions have been around? Like now, you know, the people that's in Washington do the George Washington, but look at Marilyn Monroe. She got a fake piece that's right here. Go look up a picture of Marilyn Monroe. You'll see a piece right here that's fake. So weaves and stuff, that we get that from them. I know we, you know, the sisters get blamed for that, but weaves come from them. Look at the chick on the AT&T commercial, the Russian Lily. You know, she's Russian. Got the big old boobs. Look at her. Most of her pictures, her hair short. Now in the commercials, her hair down the middle of her back. What you think that is? Like I said, these long eyelashes that they copy now, that's a 60s thing. Long eyelashes come from the 60s. Look at Twiggy. Look at Bridget Bardot. Look up Elizabeth Taylor. Look them up in the 60s and you see them same eyelashes back then. This ain't nothing new that they do. But thank you, Lobo. I'm looking at Sabrina picture and her shoulder, the elbow longest. Yeah, I mean, look at it. Make your own opinion. What's the name of the tennis player? He passed away of cancer, and you talking about Arthur Ashe. Arthur Ashe, and they gave him AIDS. They gave he had surgery. Arthur Ashe was fine. Arthur Ashe had surgery, and Arthur Ashe was given transfusions, and he was given HIV/AIDS through transfusions. That's how they assassinated Arthur Ashe. He won maybe one. He didn't win very many national title or tennis titles. He won Wilmington. I think he was the first brother to win Wilmington. But Gibson, she won Wilmington too. She was the first sister to Gibson. I can't think of her name. I can picture her face. So Gibson was her name. It was the sister that won Wilmington, the first sister to win it. I can't think of her name. The AT&T chicks are certified. That chick, look, that chick, you see that chick, she's very busty, very busty, very busty. A-Win thought I was talking about Serena. Okay. Sabrina is a female. Okay. If you think so, that's all right. Hey, how you doing, James? That's how they killed Eazy-E. Very similar. But yeah, that's how they killed Arthur Ashe. Gave him HIV. Magic ain't never had that shit. Magic ain't never had that shit. How his son was born and Cookie didn't have it. You think he quit freaking? He was doing all that freaking and he didn't freak Cookie and Cookie pregnant? I mean, that's where it almost caught him up. They was almost caught up in a lie because Cookie didn't have it and the baby didn't have it. They came right out and said that. Well, Cookie's fine and the baby's fine. But Magic got the shit. 20 years later, they tell you he takes the cocktail. You know, this is what's the trip. 20 years later, they wouldn't give the cocktail supposedly Magic to everybody. But now we see it on commercials. And who's in the HIV commercials? Who's in the HIV commercials? How many brothers you see leading the HIV commercials? They happy in the motherfucker. I'm not going to let the HIV stop me. There's a band leader. One chick got it. She's a band leader. You know how many commercials to show melanated people got HIV? Something that don't really... I remember Suge mentioned injecting Eazy-E on the Jimmy Kimmel show. Well, you remember y'all rap historians know. What was Ice-T's second album called? Lethal Injection. What do you think he was talking about? Lethal Injection. That was a sacrifice for Dr. Dre and Ice-T. And that was what the second album was called before the Lynch Mob. His first album was good, though. How you gonna let a Jew ruin a crew? No Vaseline. That no Vaseline shit was hard. No Vaseline. How you gonna let a Jew ruin a crew? But no Vaseline was hard. I had that shit. Lynch Mob. Oh, but Lethal Injection tell you right there. They tell you. I heard this, but I don't know if this is true or not. Okay, Cynthia Roberts was she was the first one to really record rappers and put it out there. She did Rappers Delight. Again, the first rap song really released was King Tim III, which was a moderate hit. Their biggest hit was Money, All Money. Got to get my hands on some. The Fatback Band, Money. It will get you all the things you want to buy. That was a bigger hit for the Fatback Band than King Tim the Third. But it was King Tim the Third. But no. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. Okay. Yeah. So the chick that sang a song called Woman to Woman, her name was something right. She was a raunchy chick. Some people say that's his mama, Eazy's mama. Her last name was right. The only song I can remember is Woman to Woman, but she was like, I saw her live, and I mean, this woman was raunchy in her singing. But they say that was Eazy's mother, and Eazy was raised in the music business. But her last name was right. I can't think of her name, but she sang that song Woman to Woman, and her song was a lot like R. Kelly's In the Closet shit. And I'm saying it's the same song as she's talking, not as he called it an opera, but she's talking to someone else. You know, she's talking to the person that stole her man or whose man she stole, something like that. Ice Cube was not down with NOA at the time too. I remember that too, but Suge was being tongue to cheek. Damn, that's crazy. I didn't think about the Lethal Injection album, The Connection. Yeah. Not Ice Cube. Yeah, that was Ice Cube. Yeah, no Vaseline. No Vaseline was Annihilation on wax. Yeah, absolutely. Ice Cube is a puppet. Yeah, I agree with that. I heard he wrote some of that song too. Shirley Brown. Was that the name? Am I wrong? No, her name was right. I thought she sang Woman to Woman. Maybe I'm wrong. What song did she sing? Kind of old man in y'all. I thought it was Woman to Woman. Maybe I'm wrong. But it was, what is her name? She sang a lot of them songs in the 80s and 90s. But they say that was Eazy's mama, that he grew up in the music business. I'll try to look up her name. But her name is right, and she's a raunchy singer. I saw her do a concert. I saw Aunt Esther do a concert. And you talk about, woo, Aunt Esther was a trip. She wasn't young talking shit. Adele that was on The View, the kind of homely chick that was on The View, I saw her too here. She was funny as hell. Talking, she was very raunchy too. What is Wright's name? What is her name? Cynthia? No, that ain't right. I thought she was Woman to Woman, but I could be wrong. I can't think of her name. Sorry. Betty Wright. Yes, no, Betty Wright. They say Betty Wright. Yes, thank you, Lorenzo. They said Betty Wright was his mama. Yeah, Betty Wright. Woman to Woman with Shirley. Okay, I'm wrong. Yeah, I'm wrong. Yeah, No Pain, No Gain. But she had a bunch of other songs. She had Betty Wright had some other songs that was really raunchy. I think that's her. I could be. But I think Betty Wright sounds more right. So, yeah, Woman to Woman. Or yeah, Woman to Woman. No Pain, No Gain. Yeah, No Pain, No Gain. Yeah. Yeah, Woman to Woman with Shirley. Okay. Yeah. You know, I'm getting the people mixed up. But yeah, I think Betty Wright is that's I kind of come across that information. So he had a connection. It wasn't just like he came out of nowhere and didn't, the music business. And look how many after Eazy-E. You got 50 Cent, dope to rapper. You got Biggie, dope to rapper. I mean, how many? You see how they wanted young people to think that they had to sell dope to become rappers. I mean, that's a psychological attack on people if you look at it, to tell you that was the way to do it. You sell dope to be the rapper. And it had a lot of young men. I mean, it's still 50-year-old men, dudes in their 40s still trying to rap. It's a dude, hell of a basketball player. He played at Detroit Mercy. And he started at Central Michigan. I think he ended at Detroit Mercy or one or the other. Calvin Winfield. And now Calvin Winfield has to be, he's younger than my brother, but Calvin got to be 50, still trying to rap. And I tell you, his story is really sad, and I've told this story before. I knew Calvin as a little boy because this dude I said was a handler played softball. So I was the babysitter when they was, the parents was playing softball. And if the women wasn't there, all these children was there. And so I was watching all the children, and they ran around on me the first day. Next time I did a softball game and watched children, I had softball. So them little children ran, I blast them with softball. Very quickly, they just sat around me. But Clyde had or excuse me, Calvin had an older brother named Clyde that was 2 years behind me. And, when he was a sophomore, when I was a senior, and he always bugged me to play one-on-one. He said, look, I want to be better. And he's like, you the best here, and I want to play. So because I'd known him since he was a little boy, we played one-on-one almost after every practice. And he got better. I mean, he got really better. He started getting tall. And we went home for Christmas break. He didn't come back to practice to the JV because, at first we did drills and stuff with everybody. And don't you know, within 65 days, he died of leukemia. From December, I would say maybe 60 days, Clyde died of leukemia. Yeah, we was heartbroken. Dude I'd known since he was a little boy. But his brother now, 50-year-old rapper, still going at it. You can look up his stuff. Can I get what do they call it? Can I get a mixed clearance? What do they call that? Can I get a sample clearance? Look up his stuff. It's Can I get a sample clearance? Because he used to go by Jack Frost, I think. But I think he just used his name. But he's 50 years old, still trying to rap. Snoop Dogg's dad was in the CIA. I am not surprised. Yeah, Betty Wright had the cleanup woman singing songs like that young age. She was 16 when she sang that song. Yes, I think it is Betty Wright. Because Betty Wright talked a lot of shit. Oh, man, she gave good concerts. But I'm not surprised by that. Again, they gave Snoop, he got off about the murder case. He got off. So you don't think he worked for them people? And Snoop is the new Stevie Wonder. Snoop braids back to here. His braids is back to here. Remember they did Stevie Wonder like that. I mean, come on. Your braids is supposed to be up here. Your locks is supposed to be up here, not back here and long in the back. It's supposed to be cover your whole head. Roberta Flack, her production was tight. The first time ever I saw your face, but Back Together Again with Donny Hathaway. Yeah. Back Together Again. Yeah. Roberta Flack and Donny Hathaway. And Donny Hathaway, beautiful voice. And they made him go crazy. And he ended up jumping out of a window. Look up Donny Hathaway. Donny Hathaway, most of y'all probably know his Christmas song, And this Christmas will be. Donny Hathaway, I don't care who copies that. The Christmas song is Donny Hathaway's. Ain't nobody better. And that's sadly, that's his really best, what he's best known for. But Back Together Again with Donny Hathaway and Roberta Flack is nice. You see them both kind of at their peak. But yeah. But that album with The First Time I Ever Saw Your Face, that whole album is pretty good. Young Jeezy had a campaign and t-shirt called Can't Ban the Snowman. Children was getting banned for school for wearing that shirt. In the 70s, I used to have a shirt that said, enjoy cocaine. I used to wear it to school. It said, enjoy cocaine. Now, it was made like the Coca-Cola shirt. It was made just like the Coca-Cola shirt, but it actually said, enjoy cocaine. And I used to wear that shit to school. And I ain't never get kicked out of school for that. Say Eminem's daddy was in it too. Doesn't surprise me. Betty Wright was Lil Wayne Carter too. Oh, was on Lil Wayne? Okay. Snoop got the convertible. He definitely does. Murder Was a Case dropped years before Snoop actually had a murder case. Predictive programming. Oh, outstanding, Lobo. Outstanding. That's a good point. That is a real good point. I was kind of thought that when it was mentioned it. When I said it, I kind of thought the same thing. I was like, yeah. But how'd he get off? Come on. Snoop was just driving. He didn't know I was going to fire at the guy. Come on, get and it was on Court TV. I don't know if y'all remember that. It was on Court TV. Jeezy said they call me residue. I leave blow in their beats. But it's that dope culture, dope man, dope man. Joyner Lucas was on something with Snoop and asked him, "Hey, Unc, when you gonna cut your stuff off? They're gonna have you looking like Stevie soon. You look like Stevie now." I mean, it was so bad with Stevie where, like I talked about my friend that used to just Jerry curl the back. His shit was back here, and he just Jerry curled what was back. And so what was back there just hung greasy looking. I've seen pictures ever since he finally, I used to tell brothers, get rid of that hip hop. One of my best friends, he would get his hair braided, and he would get it braided like this. It would go like this, and then there was no hair in the middle, so the braids would go around like this, and then you get the rest of the hair braided. So all his hair was braided, but it was like his daughter had to braid it, circle around the wagons up here and braid it. And I used to always tease him, but like, man, when you gonna get rid of your hip hop? Cut it off. Like Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods started to wear wigs. Look at Tiger now. Tiger got some more hair added. They slowly added. Doing the George Washington that all the politicians do in D.C. That's why they wear wigs. Look at all the politicians. They all of them wear wigs. Richard Nixon had the shit in the middle. Richard Nixon was bald back to here, but for some reason they think that if you get a patch right here, they don't make you look bald. I got a dude I went to high school with, went to Michigan, played baseball at University of Michigan, but he got a little piece right here. Like, how do you go into the toupee place and it's like, like, what do you want? We can give you anything now. The Bosley commercials. Well, I just need a little patch right here in front. Just give me like 2 inches right here, make it about this high. Look at this. You see okay, your hairline, even as a young man, is about here, right? A lot of times when you see the hairlines going to here, you see it glued. So when you start seeing it glued right here, they got a piece on, because that's what they'll do. They'll wear the pieces too far. For some reason, they have to glue it in here. Ain't nobody's hairline where my wrinkles are. But yet you seeing these dudes where their hairlines start here, So, but again, it's the George Washington. If you watch politics, it's the George Washington. That's why they do it. Pooh Shiesty wore a toupee. Yeah, that's the music. The Homer Simpson. That's right. That's right. And he talked all he didn't know he's dad. Oh wow. Pooh Shiesty, that's funny. He wasn't but an uncle named Junebug. He Snoop sacrificed. Wow, not surprised. Not surprised. Charlie Wilson, Snoop uncle. No, they ain't related. They ain't related. He just called him uncle, but they ain't related. And Charlie Wilson, got lost all that money for the Gap Band. He was in such a fucked up contract too, so it drove him to start getting high, and he had to lose everything. So, well, I've been going on longer than I thought. I'm very inspired tonight. So tonight's card is Con, seed, corn, iguana. Quality, seed, seeding, manifestation, self-germination, creation, fertile ground, gestation, opening, erupting possibilities, acting on inspiration, initiating creative ideas, developing concepts. Symbol is well-rooted seeding or the solar plexus. The number 4. The color is saffron yellow. Looks like maize yellow to me. No, there we go. Sunflower petals or dandelion are the herb. The flowers is yellow lilies or buttercups. Y'all used to suck them buttercups. Buttercups had a little sweet in them. Dandelions. Flower essence is the bow tree, seed of enlightenment. Scents are clover. Stones are citrine, golden calcite, tiger's eye. It's a fire element, and Saturday is the energies coming from the south. And I say this, if you're trying to manifest with the energy coming from the south. So however you want to do it, you want to put your back to the south, whatever you want to do. But let me show you something. Let me kind of break this up. This even goes into the medicine wheel. So it ain't just that I get this out of what they did in South America. Well, this end up going into the Americas, and it's the medicine wheel. It's all the same thing. It's all about the directions. It's all about the directions and how to approach it. Shadow wisdom, feeling fear of insecurity, limiting new possibilities with routine, choosing to remain safe at the expense of awakening and growing lack of confidence. But the way you can get out of it is realize that you and your life are the fertile ground, that you awaken your own dreams and possibilities. Free yourself from the illusion of safety as you enter into the manifestation of emerging possibilities. The harmonic wisdom is progression, mandra, hands clapped over each other at the solar plexus, holding the seed, opening your hand and offering the seed to life. So you start here with your hands cupped, and you offer the seed, and you say, I am the fertile ground, the self-germinating seed of possibility. Yeah, so. And again, you ain't got to agree with me. Just do your own work. All I'm saying is possibilities. That's all I'm saying. It's just possibilities. Do your own work. I'm not trying to convince anybody. What is it? How did the rap go? I'm not. Gosh, how did LJ say it? I'm not something I am already convinced. I can't remember how it went. But Mora, it all starts with a gentle sadness. It all starts with a gentle sadness. I mean, I've mentioned going to these realms where they like, do you know what it feels like to be torn in two? Like you go into this stuff and you get torn into 1,000,000 pieces. And when you are these million pieces, you go into all these million realities where over and over again you just get beat down. And you almost look at it like, damn, this got to be hell. And it's not hell. It's to make you, see that they can't make you suffer. Because you suffered already. You suffered already. I mean, if you look back at the lesson, and the lesson is that you've suffered already, so this can't break you any more than what you suffered before. They came from their original homeland, civilization builders. They knew that they had an exact number of years and days before they would disappear off the earth as a culture and a lifestyle. But the civilization would build to a gentle love. They lived in the Creator's day, knew how to separate cycles in the great serpent, which is the Milky Way. But see, how many societies talk about civilization building? As I said before, I went into one reality where it was like everybody basically looked like types of standing up. I would almost say big head Ninja Turtles in a way. And then we go into the cave and we come back out and it's full civilization. Now, how would the civilization learn to thrive, to feed themselves, to what to eat, not to eat? You want to believe that caveman shit? The caveman just experimented. He just hit the cave girl upside the head of the Quest for Fire. Remember Quest for Fire? The women was washing up, and the Quest for Fire dudes ran up behind him, and got a quickie. Just. And as I end, remember, all the family out there, remember, I am another yourself. So treat people as the way you would treat yourself. Be able to Lord March them, looking from their eyes, and children, that's really easy to really look out of the children's eyes to get the true story. Is not very hard if you know your children. And so tonight, everyone rest well. Again, what's in your house is what you put there, and you have to understand what you put there will protect you. It's enough. Whatever colors you put around you, knickknacks, it's enough to protect you, but you have to activate it. So activate it. If that little man is chasing you in your dreams, because you become little too, but if he's sitting on your chest and you can't breathe, remember, he's littler than you. But remember, there's something in your room can say, get this little motherfucker off of me. There's something in your room, instead of taking on this fear, like, golly, he's on my chest and I can't move, no, just say, red shirt, go get him. Picture, go get him. I mean, this is what the things that are around you are for. Green curtains, go get him. You don't have to have this stuff. It's stuff around you that will spiritually work if you activate it. You got to go in your house and look at this stuff and say, you guys got to help me out. If I'm depressed, I put all this shit in here. You got to help me not be depressed. Why are you in here? Why did I pick you? That's how it's supposed to work. This stuff is supposed to work. You bought this stuff, so it's supposed to work for you. It ain't just sitting there. This shit all better work for me. All this shit's got a purpose. It better work for me. Do you understand? You've got to look at it like that. So you don't need, I mean, crystals help, it amplifies, especially quartz. It'll amplify what you do. But know that this stuff will protect you. And so rest well as you go into your creation ball field as you rest. And those of you that have to work tonight, may you go through work safely. May you go home safely. And may you get the rest that you deserve. So everyone, may you be spiritually protected by what you do, because it's enough. Remember, love just is. There's no opposite. Love is supreme. You know, the witch is right. Love or above. That's it. That's really how you want to keep it. You want to keep your love meter up here. Because, you know, day go by, that love just, you know, it's something out there. The beast loves to take that from you. And so you may leave a house as a Super Saiyan, but shit comes at the job before you leave the house. You know, the children is nagging you, the wife is nagging you, the job, you got shit to do that you don't think you can get done. And before you know it, love is in your ankles when you leave your house. Can't leave the house like that. You can't fight this beast like that. Keep your love high, because love is your shield. Love just is. And in closing, as I always say, the days are long, but the years are short. The years fly by. That's what makes you see that it's an illusion. The years go by unbelievable. I mean, how do you go from sitting in school waiting for 3 o'clock to get out to school and be like the next day you be 30 years old? Be like, but damn, ain't I still sitting in 3rd grade or 4th grade looking at the clock waiting to get out? Because the job is the same thing. It's the same thing. The same way you look at the clock to get out of school, you look at work to get out of work. It's the same thing. Same concept. So, well, I will be on tomorrow. Oh, yeah. Mother's Day is going to be kind of iffy. We'll see. I got a lot of shit to do. Oh, my goodness. A lot of money to spend on Mother's Day. A lot of money to spend on Mother's Day. Definitely. I guess we're smoking food on Mother's Day, so that means I'm going to stink. I can't dress up because smoking, you know, them electric smokers, you stink. I mean, it's no way to get around it. But you cook that shit long enough, that shit come out very good. So smoking some shit from my mother, my daughter's mother. I think my son's coming down. This big son is going to be with me. So the days are long, but the years are short. So everybody, thank you for coming on. Again, I'm not trying to rile you up. You ain't got to, you have your own opinions. Look it up. This is what I've made famous on YouTube. Look it up. You look at your own, make your own conclusion, you know, your own conclusions. You look at all the evidence, and whatever the evidence leads you to, that's what you got to go with. I'm not convincing anybody. I'm already convinced. So I don't have to convince anybody. I don't care if you believe or not. Or not believe. I don't care if you're convinced or not. I'm sorry I slipped up. Because I know. I don't believe in anything. I know. I experience. So I don't believe in anything. Don't you believe in anything. So this has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am your super, super funky host. I've had a lot of fun tonight. You see, I'm riled up. I got it on. I had the big bong before I came on, so I'm going. I've had a little too much to drink. So excuse me for my funkiness, because it's all just in debate. That's all. It's just all chopping. So don't take it personal. Take the bitter with the sweet. Easy come, easy go. Ooh, Jermaine Jackson, that's his best song. Do I do a second chorus? This has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. Till we meet again, say less.